morning, everyone. My name is elt-defani. My student number is 22018191. Okay, in this opportunity, I would like to present my seminar today. In this presentation, I will discuss a journal entitled Conceptualizing Deep Learning Approach in Primary Education, Integrating Mindful, Meaningful, and Joyful Learning by Nafia and Farad, published in 2025. My presentation will cover the background of the study, the concept of deep learning, the research method, key findings, challenges, and conclusions. Okay, let's see the background. Okay, the background of this study is based on the low performance of Indonesian students in the PISA 2022 results. The second one is superficial learning due to AI and social media. Indonesian students scored significantly below the OECD average in reading, mathematics, and creative thinking. In addition, the rapid development of artificial intelligence and social media has led students to access instant information without deep understanding. And then, as a result, students tend to experience superficial learning rather than meaningful cognitive engagement. This condition highlights the urgent need for a learning approach that promotes deep learning, reflection, and critical thinking. And so, what is deep learning? Introduced by Martin and Saljo, 1976, deep learning in education was first introduced by Martin and Saljo. They distinguish between surface learning and deep learning. Surface learning focuses on memorization, while deep learning emphasizes understanding, meaning, connecting ideas, and applying knowledge in new situations. Students who engage in deep learning tend to think critically, reflect on their learnings, and develop stronger problem-solving skills. So, deep learning, we focus on deep learning in Indonesia. In Indonesia, deep learning not a new curriculum but a learning approach. However, the study clearly states that deep learning is a learning approach, not a curriculum. It is promoted by Ministry of Education as part of efforts to strengthen character education and 21st century competencies. And then deep learning also aligned with curriculum Merdeka, which emphasizes student-centered, contextual, and meaningful learning experiences. And this is the theoretical framework. The study is grounded in several important theories. First, the SOLO taxonomy by Biggs and Collis explains how students' understanding develops from simple to complex levels. The second one is Michael Fullan's 6 CS competencies. Highlight 6 essential competencies for deep learning in the 21st century, which is character, citizenship, collaboration, communication, creativity, and critical thinking. These theories support the integration of cognitive, social, and emotional aspects in learning. So, what are called core elements of deep learning? The first one is mindful learning, meaningful learning, and joyful learning. The authors propose that deep learning in primary education should integrate three key elements. mindful learning. Mindful learning refers to learning with full attention and awareness. It trains students to focus, reflect, and regulate their own learning processes. This is particularly important for Generation Z and Alpha students who are easily distracted by digital media. Examples of mindful learning include short mindfulness activities, storytelling, game-based learning, and the use of artificial intelligence to support personalized learning. And the second one is meaningful learning. Meaningful learning is based on David Ausubel's theories. Learning becomes meaningful when new information is connected to students' prior knowledge and real-life experiences. In this approach, teachers do not simply deliver content, but help students construct understanding through contextual and problem-solving activities. The ultimate goal of meaningful learning is to develop independent learners. Next is joyful learning. The first one is emphasizes emotional engagement and happiness. Joyful learning emphasizes student emotional engagement and happiness in the learning process. A joyful learning environment makes students feel comfortable, motivated, and enthusiastic. This approach can be implemented through games, role play, arts, music, collaborative projects, and creative activities. And then joyful learning is also consistent with Ki Hajar Dewantara's educational philosophy, which values learning that is liberating and human-centered. Okay, and this is the research method used in this research. This study employs a library research method. The authors conducted a qualitative synthesis using the PRISMA framework to ensure systematic and transparent literature selection. 5 peer-reviewed articles published between 2022 and 2025 were selected from Google Scholar and Sinta Index Journal for analysis. And these are the key findings of the study. The first one, the findings show that the deep learning approach is effective in improving students' critical thinking, creativity, and engagement. Deep learning is most effective when it is applied contextual and aligned with the students' real-life experiences. The integration of mindful, meaningful, and joyful learning creates a learning environment that supports both cognitive and emotional development. So here is the table of reviewed articles. As you can see, this table summarizes the 5 articles reviewed in the study. Each article highlights different aspects of deep learning implementation in primary education, ranging from conceptual discussion to classroom applications. Despite different contexts, all studies consistently support the effectiveness of deep learning when teachers actively facilitate reflective and meaningful learning experiences. And here are the challenges faced by the author. Although deep learning shows positive results, several challenges remain. The first one is teacher readiness, limited infrastructure and technology, and then curriculum time constraints. These include uneven teacher readiness, limited infrastructure and technological gaps, and time constraints within the curriculum. The study emphasizes that deep learning cannot succeed without proper teacher training and institutional support. So, at the end, here the conclusion of the study. In conclusion, this review confirms that integrity, mindful, meaningful, and joyful learning strengthens the deep learning approach in primary education. Deep learning enhances students' cognitive depth, emotional engagement, and reflective thinking. However, the author also highlights the need for large-scale empirical studies to validate its long-term effectiveness across diverse educational settings. And here the reference of the study, and then so that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.